Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Tiffany, a retired librarian turned homeschool mom. And in this video we're going to look at an interesting little children's book, kind of about food, kind of about what it's like to be an immigrant in a strange country. I borrowed this book from my library in ebook form. I always recommend when it comes to kids books, particularly picture books, that you get them in physical form. I have a toddler, it's hard to get to the library, particularly in a pandemic, and I kind of wanted to get these done for January to go along with my cookbooks because I wanted some stuff that's fun. And I came across this book, which I really, really loved and would highly recommend. This is Salma the Syrian Chef. So this is a cute little book. The the story is by Danny Ramadan, and the art is by Anna Bron. Now the author of the book is, I believe, Syrian, and he is a Canadian immigrant. So this story takes place in Canada. In fact, I think it takes place in British Columbia. So, where's the book? So, this is a book. You have a little girl by the name of Selma, and she's in Vancouver at the Welcome Center. Her and her mother have come over from being in a refugee camp, and her mom is sad, essentially. She's going to interviews, she's going to English class. She doesn't laugh anymore. So you see this little girl. She sees the rain. Things are different. She's trying to make her mother happy. Her mother is busy calling her father, who's back still in Syria. Her mother is going to English classes. She tries to make her mom laugh by trying to pronounce Vancouver. And her mom just seems sad. She misses her husband. She's in a different place. She's going to interviews all the time. She's going to English classes. Essentially, she's an immigrant and a refugee in a foreign country, and she's trying to learn the language, and she's lonely for her husband, and she's isolated a little bit, and she misses her country. Because remember, Syrian immigrants did not want a war coming to their country. They did not necessarily want to leave, but everything was being blown up. So things kind of sucked. So for the sake of their families, they left in their lives. So mom is sad. Her little girl, basically her daughter says, Mama used to giggle with her friends in the refugee camp. And it sounded like the ringing bells on the older boys' bikes. But now after a long day of interviews in English classes, Mama barely smiles when she checks Selma in. So the little girl's sad. She sees that her mom is sad. And so she tries to make her mom a picture, and she keeps trying to make Mama laugh. She roars at her and jumps out at her. But she's like, I don't know. She goes to the one of the people at the Welcome Center, which I'm assuming is the Immigrant Center in Canada. And she talks to Nancy, the woman who speaks her in broken Arabic, because she's one of the people who's trying to help. Like, I want to make Mama laugh. And so this woman asks, okay, why don't you draw something? What do you think makes your mom smile? When was the last time you saw her happy? And so she draws her house, even though technically the walls were not purple. These are her memories. And she comes up with the fact that her mama made a, I'm going to mispronounce this, it's foul sashimi. And that's how I pronounce it in my head. I'm pretty sure it's mispronounced here. It's a Syrian food dish. And so this is, she can't bring her papa sooner. She can't rebuild their old home. But she knows what to do. She wants to cook this dish. So she looks to some of her friends and the people she has at the Welcome Center. So, and they talk about the foods that they miss. So you have an Egyptian guy who mixes, I'm going to mispronounce this, kurashi, which is a spicy Egyptian dish. And then the girl from India misses masala dosa, which is from India. And then a Mexican boy from Venezuela misses arepas. I'm mispronouncing this, but they didn't know what her dish is. So she asks one of the other people in the Welcome Center, and he's like, I don't know what this is, if she can find a recipe. It's like, I can find you a recipe. I can look it up online. So we write the recipe, but she can't really understand the English. So she draws pictures. You see her, she's drawing the pictures of the different foods and the different ingredients. And she gets dressed, she gets some of her money. She goes with another woman who's from Somalia, and they go to the market, and she gets the stuff. And then she gets oddly enough, a gay couple from Lebanon to help her cook because she can't use knives. She's a little girl. And they help her. But she also has to remember these spices. And then she can't find sumac. And one of the women from Granny Doya, who comes from, she's Persian. So I believe she comes from Iran. And she's like, I have sumac. And then she makes a dish, but then she breaks the olive oil. And my tablet is dying. So I will have to plug this in soon. And she breaks it, and she's sad. And she gets on the floor. She misses home. Mary's one that she misses home. She misses being able to, everybody to understand her in Arabic, because she doesn't speak English very well. And she misses running and playing, and it's raining outside. And that's part of it. But Nancy pretty much says, I don't think it's missing a thing. So just give it to Mom. And so she gives it to Mom, and she said, don't be mad, I don't have olive oil. And her mother sees what she did, and her mother just starts to laugh. And then their friends show up with olive oil. And she has a cute little moment with her mom. Sorry. Emotional person. But this is a really, really cute story. And then she has her dream where she sees all her friends. And this is a really cute story. The author and it talks about what the dish is. It doesn't give a recipe. It does give a link to the recipe, so you could probably write that down if you get a physical book. And it does talk about, I think, the author a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, there it is. And so the author is an award-winning Syrian Canadian author and activist and public speaker. His work in activism helped many people provide self-passage to dozens of Syrian LGBTQ refugees to Canada. He lives in Vancouver, and the illustrator is just a standard illustrator who works in Canada, works on a lot of children's books. So this is really, really cute. It has a lot of meaning in the fact that you have a child who's displaced. They were in a refugee camp. Her and her mother are now in Canada. I mean, they're in Vancouver. Talk about far from home. I mean, they're on the other side of the world, learning a completely different language, and it's hard. I volunteered at an Arabic center doing some help with teaching English, and it's hard. Arabic is a completely different language than English. Their writing is different. They read left to right. We read right to left. And so it's hard. And this story shows a little girl who can't bring her family. She can't bring her father back. She can't bring their home back. She can't take her mom back to Syria because everything's destroyed. The world's, it's a giant war zone. It's still a mess. And essentially, she wants to make her mom laugh again. And it's really cute how she tries to make this dish, and she gets help from a variety of different people. And you see all the people at this, it's basically refugee or welcome center. And I think that's where they're living. They're living on top of it, an apartment on top of the center, which may be common in Canada. The U.S. probably doesn't. I don't know how the U.S. handles things. They probably put people in apartments. But again, it's a heartwarming story. So it's definitely obviously a small children's book. It's not very, very long. It would probably be better in physical form. Ebooks don't do it justice. The illustrations are beautiful, and the story is amazing. If you're looking at refugee crisis and try to talk about it with little kids, this is a good way to show what it's like to be have immigrated to a foreign country where you don't know anybody, and it's hard on basically on parents and this sweet little girl who wants to make her mom laugh. She sees that her mom is sad and she wants to do something to do it, and she does. Her mom realizes her daughter went out of her way, spent money to make her mom a dish that would make her smile. And they have community here. And that's the other thing it shows. They have community. They have a new community in Canada. So it's a good book to show that if your family happens to be refugees or they know refugees, that this gives a kind of an idea of what they're going through just a little bit. How mom is trying to get a job and she's trying to study English, and how this little girl tries to cope not knowing English very well and being able to draw pictures and get help from adults to make her mom smile and make her mom laugh. I love this book. I'll probably add it to my Amazon list to something to possibly buy, because I think it would be a good book to read to my kids. My daughter's young right now. She's under 3, so she wouldn't fully understand this quite yet, but it's definitely something I'm going to add to my list and would really, really recommend. If you're looking for a book to kind of introduce that topic, if you know people who are refugees, or if you were talking about that topic, or you want to introduce this topic to your kids and show them kind of what it's like. So fantastic book, beautiful illustrations, wonderful story. Obviously LGBTQ friendly, because the author is, and there is a gay couple from Lebanon in this book who she actually asks to help her cook. So it's, in that way, it's also fun. You see this little girl trying to make this dish and trying to find different ingredients and remember. So, and going to different places. So it's amazing little book. I was surprised. I just looked for food books in my public library's ebook collection, and this one popped up, and I happened to fall in love with it after reading it. So great book. Highly recommend. I'll put a link in the description below, or check it out from your public library if you can find it. Always recommend. Should always say that with my book reviews. If you can find it, look for it in your public library. So that's it for this review. If you like what you see, be sure to like and subscribe. Check out the rest of my videos. I do a lot of children's books, some sprinkling of films as well. I do a little bit of travel videos, some secular, aka non-religious homeschooling videos, and I have a whole bunch more planned. And like I said, like and subscribe and check me out. Thank you.